KPO is fully committed to maintaining a fair and effective culture in health, safety, and environment. In support of this policy, KPO has developed 3 golden rules. Comply with the law, standards, and procedures. Intervene on unsafe or non-compliant actions. Respect each other, our contractors, and our community. There are 11 life-saving rules: bypassing safety controls, driving, confined space, energy isolation, hot work, excavation, line of fire, safe mechanical lifting, work authorization, working at height, and hydrogen sulfide, H2S. Before entering rig site, please pay attention to the signal flag located at security gate on location. If the flag is red, it means that critical operations are ongoing on the rig and movement in and out is restricted for everyone, except emergency response units. You will need to wait for a flag changing out before proceeding. If the flag is green, it's safe for entrance or exit. Please don't forget to register yourself at the security gate, leave your H2S card, non-explosion proof mobile phones and other electronic devices, including earphones, in the shack. PPE requirements: hard hat, safety glasses, steel-toed boots, impact gloves, long-sleeved fireproof coveralls. Hearing protection should be used if you enter high noise areas above 85 decibels. No jewelry and metal watch bands are allowed on the rig site. Use of cell phones, cameras, electronic devices, and headphones is strictly prohibited. Following clean face policy is mandatory on the rig site. 7 steps of work process puts 6 barriers in place for everyday tasks. Process assists in verification that personnel are working safely as promised. Starting work is not step number 1, but rather the last step in a series of steps that ensure work is ready to start. Number 1, plan. Communicate. Number 3, check equipment. Number 4, prepare area. 5, control energy. 6, final check. 7, start work. The aim of Safety Leadership and Coaching Program is to develop and improve the skills of work leaders so that they can train the workers and be mentors for them on the field, thereby ensuring the implementation of safe work practices. Safety leaders should maintain a culture of care where everyone feels valued, demonstrate rationale intervention, assuring and understanding the opinions of others, encourage good communication and safe job performance during the work process, build positive business-like relationships with KPO representatives, contractors, and their leaders. Safety meetings are the best way to keep employees aware of changes in operations, procedures, accidents, near misses, unsafe conditions, unsafe acts. Safety meetings allow personnel to ask questions about how operations should be done and offer input into improvements. Safety meetings are conducted pre-tower and pre-job. General safety meetings are conducted a minimum of once a week. KPDC is following KPO permit to work and risk management system. There are several types of permits to work and certificates used on the rig site. Hot work permit, cold and gas hazardous work permit, electrical permit to work, electrical isolation certificate, mechanical isolation certificate, gas clearance certificate, confined space entry authorization. Don't forget to use CLARA forms and RAMs for pre-job risk assessments along with permit to work. Before a task is started, the job steps will be reviewed for any potential hazards that might cause an injury and to note what protective equipment might be necessary to do the job. Hazards will be eliminated or greatly reduced before proceeding to work. All aspects of the task must be taken into consideration before work begins, including how other simultaneous operations might affect personal safety. Potential hazards on location: slips, trips, fall hazards, lifting activities, overhead loads, heavy trucks and forklift movements, high noise areas, rig site and well emergencies, release of hydrocarbons, oils, dangerous gases, H2S and SO2, fire and first aid, toxic hazards, equipment working under pressure, rotating equipment, working at heights, confined space, dropped objects, pinch points, struck by, chemical hazards, radiation source, and etc. All personnel will be instructed on how they are to respond to a specific emergency. Rig emergencies may include well kicks, fire on the rig, or an H2S release. All personnel will be given assignments and locations for evacuations in a safe muster. H2S alarms, long, constant, signal activated by H2S alarm. Fire alarm given by driller, sounds like 8 short horn blasts. Gas or oil kick given by driller, sounds like 1 long horn blast until well shut in. Fire and H2S alarms are tested regularly. Notification will be given when a test to take place. Regular, unannounced emergency response drills will be carried out and performance recorded before improvement. Action in the event of a fire or H2S alarm. In emergency cases, follow the instructions of the responsible person for evacuation. Evacuate the building using the nearest fire exit route. Proceed immediately upwind to the muster point. Do not take personal risks. Do not stop to collect personal belongings. Line up by 5 at the muster point where head count will be taken prior to evacuation or the all clear is given. Follow instructions. If required, proceed to evacuation bus. Rig crew use SCBA placed around the rig site for evacuation, and in the evacuation bus they are connected to a cascade system. Non-essential personnel use personal NH15 RPE hooded escape mask for evacuation. Every effort should be made to minimize the chances of a fall. Full body harnesses should be used when personnel are working above any equipment, regardless of the height distance. All fixed ladders should have secondary fall protection installed if personnel will be at any height where a fall could render harm. The derrick ladder is also equipped with a fall protection device. This policy should be understood by all as 100% tie off 100% of the time. Confined space entry. The following safety procedures should be followed. Confined space must be removed from service and isolated. Confined space must be prepared for entry. Testing will be necessary to determine if an atmospheric hazard exists. If a hazard does exist, the preparation may involve purging and ventilation of the space. If purging or ventilation was necessary, testing of the atmosphere will again be necessary to determine what, if any, protective equipment personnel will need to wear. Equipment that might be necessary for personnel to wear include, but not limited to, hard hats, safety belts, lifelines, respirators, self-contained breathing apparatus, fall protection device, protective clothing, hearing protection, eye protection, etc. After all special precautions have been taken to eliminate the hazards, a pre-job safety meeting shall be held and documented for all personnel involved. The entry permit can then be issued and entry into a confined space is permitted. When standby personnel are necessary for the entry, a system of communicating with personnel in the confined space must be established. Dropped Objects Prevention Program. The purpose of the Dropped Object Prevention Program is to establish guidelines and standards to ensure that appropriate inspection and control mechanisms are implemented to identify, assess, eliminate, manage potential dropped objects. Drops inspections are carried out on the rig site on a weekly basis by drill crew and after each rig move and rig up. While working at height, tethered tools should be used and drop zone underneath to be barricaded. Working overhead registry shall also be filled in if any tool or equipment is going to be taken up into the derrick or the mast. Slips, trips, or falls. In order to prevent slips, trips, and falls, you need to follow the next safety rules. Keep good housekeeping on the work areas. Do not block walkways and entrances accessed by any equipment or material. Always maintain a 3-point, 2 hands and a foot, or 2 feet and a hand contact on the ladder when climbing or descending. Keep your body near the middle of the step. Do not overreach or step outside the rails. When descending ladders, the employee must always face the ladder. Hands out must be out of the pockets at all times. It is required to use spikes on slippery surfaces, excluding metal surfaces. Pinch points. Wearing impact gloves is one of the KPO safety requirements while working on the rig site in order to avoid or mitigate the consequences of pinch points around the rig, especially while handling tubulars and other heavy equipment or opening heavy rig doors and gates. Heavy equipment movement and lifting operations. Be aware and keep extra caution if you see any heavy equipment movement on location. Forklifts, loaders, heavy trucks should be provided with backup alarm signals. and be escorted by a signalman. General requirements for safe lifting operations. Barricades shall be established around lifting operations to prevent unauthorized entry, and lifting operations shall be stopped if any non-essential personnel enter the barricaded area. Workers must not stand or pass under a suspended load. Prior to the use of a mobile crane, the ground condition must be suitable for the intended lifting operation. It is required to make a test lift to check the rigging and blocking service devices for reliability when the load shall be lifted 20 to 30 centimeters above the ground. Lifting and rigging area must be equipped with proper lighting. Gloves must be worn at all times when handling and using a tagline. Rig high noise and red zone areas. There are several rig areas where the level of noise exceeding action level greater than 85 decibels, such as the pump room, engine room, SCR and MCC, shale shakers, rig floor, and drawworks area. The double hearing protection required while entering or working on these areas. The rig floor and catwalks are highly hazardous dropped object areas. The rig floor red zone policy is in use. Only personnel involved in operations are permitted by the Red Zone Marshal to visit, work, use certain equipment, and stay on the rig floor. The Red Zone Marshal can be identified by the red vest. He is the only person to regulate this procedure. The red zone on the rig floor is marked by the red color. The catwalks area is barricaded off with safety chain. Safety signs are posted. Handling of hazardous materials. What hazardous materials might be in your workplace? Explosives, materials that combust or detonate. Compressed gases, pressurized, flammable or non-flammable gas. Flammable liquids, toxic or corrosive chemicals, and radioactive materials. Before starting handling hazardous materials, know the locations and how to use emergency equipment, including safety showers and eye wash stations. Familiarize yourself with the emergency response procedure, facility alarms, and installation evacuation routes. Know the types of personal protective equipment available and how to use them for each procedure. Be alert to unsafe conditions, actions, and bring them to the attention of your supervisor so that corrections can be made as soon as possible. Refer to the label or the SDS to learn the health hazards posed by the material, the appropriate PPE to wear, special handling instructions. Weather safety precautions. During working with extremely hot or cold weather conditions, always make sure you are wearing proper PPE, especially footwear. Make short breaks to get your body cool or warm breaks on a regular basis. Drink enough fluid to control your body temperature and metabolism. Stop or pause the job if you feel yourself uncomfortable. Report to your supervisor if you're sick. Environmental protection. KPDC comprehensively evaluates, monitors, and controls environmental releases in the form of air, water, hazardous waste, and assets, and ensures releases to the environment are safe, compliant, and cost-effective. Several environmental risks exist on the rig site. Pollutant emission, wastewater, waste production, chemical and oil spills. What can you do to keep things safe? Accident and incident reporting. All incidents, spills, and near miss must be reported, regardless of severity. Inform your host as soon as possible. Facility incidents and corrective actions are posted throughout the facility. HSE cards. This system is in use to allow anyone to report any potential unsafe conditions, acts, or safety improvements. KPDC OFI cards. Opportunity for Improvement OFI card is used to engage our workers to help identify gaps, inconsistencies, and other issues that impact our work. Anyone contribute to the OFI program by identifying an event or a situation that will potentially benefit from an improvement. What can you do to keep things safe? Stop work intervention. Action taken by an employee to stop an unsafe act, an unsafe condition, in order to prevent injury, environmental damage, and or property damage. A stop work intervention includes stopping work activities, notifying management, correcting the unsafe act or condition, completing HSE card and a step back 5x5 DRA, resuming work activities, completing after-action review, and identifying opportunities for improvement and HSE pack improvement. If you see something, say something. Remember, safety is everyone's responsibility. Any safety incident must be reported. No incident is too small. Even minor issues could have an effect. If you see something, say something. Every KPDC and KPO employee, subcontractor, or visitor can act as a safety representative. We all keep each other safe.